customer perspective.
And
If you'd sat like a brand new state, but put it this way, if you'd handed one of those alien computers to somebody and said, "Happy birthday," that would be like the equivalent of doing that. Remember, like, oh, what can I make?
Yeah. Well, the good thing is that you won't have to, let's say, you know, you draw out your costume or whatever, you don't have to then go, oh bugger it, it looks terrible in real life.
See, that would be great because I could use that in so many. I can use that.
You still need to take a picture of the texture that you know what you mean, and then you upload it, and then you use that texture to see what it looks like.
That sounds amazing.
Pretzels.
No.
Sausage rolls.
So effectively, I could get like samples of fabric.
Yeah, and then
just take a photograph of it, upload it.
They do
man!
I mean, they do have a fabric sample library on there, but it might not be the fabric you're looking for.
No, but
Daniel?
Yeah.
Blood bank.
No.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Now, hang on, would it need to be the enterprise license because it's less? Because I don't know if it'd be classified as a.
It would be classed as enterprise, but money is immaterial.
Oh, go on then. Thank you. I think I needed a cup of tea.
Oh, cup of tea. Oh.
I'll make tea.
Want.
Mine! No! Apples!
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, my chocolate!
Just so you all know, guys, the camera is now back on again.
Oh, I'll do it. Yeah,
It's fine.
Carry on regardless. We just think we'll leave it. Oops.
Alright.
I just did that. But it helps reach it up and down, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What does?
So how many times has it been there? I've never actually walked into it.
I have a lot. It's hilarious. And painful. But mostly hilarious.
You know it's there.
Yeah.
No, look.
Yeah, sheets. So this is someone. Now they're turning the thing into a bean.
Please don't give Sue a fashion-gasm.
I'm not doing fashion, it's
Costume-gasm.
costume.
Yeah.
Whichever.
That would be amazing because I could sit and plan it out in my head and then work it all out.
And then
oh my god!
Now we go to the next video, which is elastic. So they're making skirts to it now.
I want to have a proper look through them. That's.
You can look it up later.
So now what? They're adding the elastic, and then they fix it.
Oh man. You have no idea, this is like
Holy
Christmas. Because it means like when I'm trying to make costumes and stuff, I have to think about how they lie and stuff.
Is there a limited demo version of it, Daniel?
Possibly, I think it's a trial thing.
I'd be quite happy to have, I'm quite interested to have a play about it.
Well, you've had a look and seen now, Sue. Code for.
And then you can do like multiple layers.
I would, I'll have a proper look through it myself, Daniel. That's cool. That's,
But then you can do like multi-layers or whatever, so if you want to do like multiple layers, that's the thing.
the thing I love about that, so this is like a fashion designer thing.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. No, that's
and
actually,
and then you can do stuff like that.
Oh God, my brain.
Yeah. It's the first tab, I think.
Did Daniel get a drink?
What the?
Daniel, what do you want to drink?
It's a Sprite again.
Alright, is there more Sprite in the fridge?
Bottle.
There's a bottle. I bought a bottle specifically.
Yeah, I think you got that one.
I think we've made great progress in an hour. I think
Well, there's still more of my list to go through.
I'm aware of that. I'd have to say, just for the record, I have not seen that list. Okay,
This
so,
is all me.
Yeah.
And Sue, but mostly me.
and a great deal of gaming experience between.
20 hours a day.
It was funny when we were talking to Sir Bernard and the Baroness last night, when they asked you each how many hours a week you spent on the games. and their reaction was very interesting.
Kirsch was like 40.
I'm at least 20, but then again, I'm out the house for at least 50 hours a week. Not so much at the moment, but
Well, that leaves
average.
118.
And I turn
No,
around and say
I do like to sleep.
140. Which is actually about right.
It was an interesting tell, and I thought a very insightful question by the Baroness.
Yeah. She was just assuming that 2 hours.
No, she wasn't making an assumption.
She was asking. She was asking,
curious.
and you answered.
How committed are you to this game?
Didn't someone say they do it more hours than there are in a week? Or
No,
something?
nobody tripped themselves up that way.
That would be quite reasonable in saying I do at least 20 hours a game. And I mean, I remember back to the year that I left school, and Final Fantasy VIII had not long been released, and I got up at 10
School?
o'clock.
What school?
Shut up, you. I got up 10 o'clock in the morning, I switched my PlayStation on. My PlayStation didn't go off till 10 o'clock at night, and it was the summer holidays. So I effectively had 6 or 7 weeks of doing nothing but getting up at 10 o'clock in the morning, switching on my PlayStation, and not switching off till 10 o'clock at night. And I made myself so ill. I think I ended up with vertigo. I was like, I standing in the rooms going, "Wee."
Which is why we've just taken a break, stood up, and waggle around health and safety. Richard, let's crack on back to your list. We left
With my controversial.
your controversial idea.
Part
So,
2.
deep breath,
Yeah.
part 2.
One of the things I want to do is Oculus Rift support, so when you're
Don't get me started on the
No,
Oculus. I love that thing.
Right, so we agree. Move on.
Okay,
yeah.
I hate the idea of in-world currency.
Defining world currency. Like, do you mean
Like,
Gold,
example,
guild.
guild,
Yeah.
whatever. In-world currency is used in every MMO to date. There is always a currency. Now, Sue and I thought that,
Who thought?
okay, Sue, and then I agreed, and then took it as my own,
Okay.
decided that, or not decided, but
Came up with a suggestion.
there we go, that perhaps a better way of doing it is trade for trade.
So basically what they've done in the old times with Hold
Exactly.
Yes.
So there effectively is no money. However, I need a bag of carrots. You've got a bag of potatoes. Do you want to swap?
Well, what about the idea of like favourite points?
How do you feel about that as an idea?
Yeah, I know.
How do you feel about that as a concept?
I wanted to do that in real life, but they don't let us.
See, fun enough,
Trade
so do
for
I.
a
But
trade.
that's another story.
Economics.
Tell me how I write that postcard down
Trade for a trade.
because I think this is possibly
Non-cash trade system.
No cash. I don't. To be honest with you, the reason we came up with this was the third-party gold sellers. Such things, you know, when you log into an MMO,
Yeah.
you get spammed in the
Spam,
main.
spam within 30 seconds
Yeah,
of
I mean,
logging
yeah,
in.
it could be if it's similar to gold, so you probably say no.
But it's not about
Like
saying
what's like let's say you're a junk vendor or you're going to the junk vendor, whatever you want to call it, the junk person.
Okay, we'll call it junk.
You bring in your old crappy swords that you don't want anymore, and you say, "Can I trade you? Here's all my crap," and then he says, "This is worth, I don't know.
This is worth this.
Let's say it's worth 36 trade points or whatever you want to call it."
What I was thinking about.
With him personally, it's just his personal plan.
What
And
you
then you
then have
say,
to-
"I want to buy this broken down car," and he says, "Okay, I'll trade it for the 36 trade points you have."
do points represent money?
Effectively,
in a way.
yeah. So,
Right.
what's going to come away from that?
Yeah, but it's only going to be per person as well, rather than universal trade currency.
So what you're saying-
like
So it's money that you can only use with traders.
With a certain trader, yeah, or a trading guild.
and it's not something you can transfer over to other players.
Yeah.
So effectively, you're buying credit with a store. So you're saying,
Yeah,
so it's like
or a
taking
guild.
in your old
Like,
PlayStation games, saying I want to trade them in. And we'll
What
give
was
you.
it? Damn it, I can't remember the anime. It's the one with the fox that turns into a person.
There's lots of anime that transform
I can't make-
boxes.
I can't remember. But basically, the guy is a market trader, or whatever you want to call it. He's a traveling trader. So he goes to the local.
Naughty.
So he goes to the local trading
It
guild
was all Dan's fault.
and trades with them their fur for essentially salt.
Yeah.
And then the salt goes, and he still gets a bit of gold at the end of it to buy food or whatever with. But the points can be either turned into gold or it can be turned into things. But it'd be, instead of having gold, you'd have a universal currency.
I don't mind trade points because it reminds me of you remember in the final dungeon raids for World of Warcraft, they did when you completed them, you got points for killing the bosses.
Mm-hmm.
It's that sort of process.
Yeah.
And they're
So a bit
bound
like
to a
Endgame
cap.
of Final Fantasy XI,
Yeah.
when you earn, when you basically max out your XP, but then you can then start taking on extra skill points, so your XP effectively turns into skill points,
Yeah.
and you earn so much experience gives you X number of skill points that you can put into.
I mean, the thing I'm thinking of is, like, let's say I just traded in 100 gold worth of leather. We're not using gold as actual
No.
trading.
So we're calling
get
it trading points. Yeah. Okay.
100 trading points gold, whatever you want to call it, and then you trade that for maybe 90 worth of salt, because you know salt's going to be very...
Yeah,
you know,
I can agree with
you know,
that. So
like
you can take
it's-
stuff to an
let's say
NPC. Yeah.
It's summer, so salt's going to be good for serving meats in the lower end towns that don't have access to electricity, fridge freezers, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
But you're only using 90, so you can either have the 10 as 10 gold, gold points worth of merchandise for buying other things in shops.
No.
It's like a token.
So let's summarise.
A non-tradable token.
A non-tradable token within the community NPCs.
So in other words, in that town, you can trade that.
So, for example, let's say our town is called Norfolk,
Yeah.
just because.
Yeah.
NPC.
You get a
NPC will
token.
play a character.
You get a token card.
You get
whatever.
Norfolk trading tokens.
Yes.
Those trading tokens
Can be
are
used
only
in Norfolk.
Or with a Norfolk trader in another town, possibly.
if they travel.
Like a travel. a trading post.
Like trading posts.
So effective, a bit like a post
Yes.
office.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
obviously
then
you can trade it-
take your Norfolk tokens down to the next town,
Yeah.
go to the trading post, they'll take, say, a small cut, so therefore 10,
Okay, so
10 trading,
you've got 100 points
got
worth
five.
of Norfolk trading.
they take 10%.
Yeah.
You then go south to, say, London,
Yeah.
and then you go to essentially the foreign exchange
Yeah.
equivalent
You
of.
trade in,
Yeah.
You trade in your 100 Norfolk tokens for, say, based on rates in
Yeah.
that town, 85 London tokens.
or they basically will change it just keep it simple,
Okay, so
but they take a 10% cut. So
you
you
get
trade in your
90.
100s, you trade in your 100, but they take 10%, so they take 10.
Yeah.
The aim was equality, as mine. The aim was talk us through
Yeah.
us through a little bit more.
Like, the thing is, if you're trading, let's say it was summer, so you had a salt mine, and you go from the salt mines to the towns that don't have, the medieval town. Let's just
So it
say.
would obviously be
Salt
in
would
high
be-
demand.
Because you need to preserve meat there.
So you can
Whereas
trade
if
it
you
for
were-
more.
Whereas if you was going to, let's say, London, which is a big city, that's got electricity,
They won't need that the same way
so
Okay.
they'd still need it for seasonings, but they won't need it
as much.
Yeah.
Because there was a suggestion
So it'd only be
that
worth less points there.
we could possibly be heading to the unique feature of
Yep.
this game, with it being barter, person to person, peer to peer, or community to community, where money doesn't buy you rank.
Yep.
You do,
Yeah.
your
By
actions do,
But,
and
yeah.
or the consequences of your actions do you good or bad.
Yep.
Are we all in agreement that that's
Kind of.
Kind of.
Like, it's the same sort of thing, but then I want to also have a skill where, let's say, you basically blag your way through pretending that...
blagging is
No.
natural.
Yes, but I meant, like, you're a trader, you're trying to trade him fox furs, so you think he's offer you 30, you say you would like 50.
Oh yeah, but that's the trading system
Oh,
as well.
anything
So
you can get on the anything you can get on
And then
the
by
day.
doing that, you can increase your rank with the trading company, so they know you're a reputable trader and
Yeah,
things like that.
No, that's fine,
That's
but that still
Well, they
comes
know you-
back
that-
down.
that still comes
Oh,
into the
that's
general
trading.
trading. That comes into the
No,
general
that
trading
comes-
system. So
if,
yeah.
if we take it from an economical standpoint,
Yeah.
back when, as you said right at the beginning, like how they did it in the olden days,
And then the
I
corporate
agree
bank-
entirely with the way it's done in the olden days. Because it,
The only
what-
issue that apparently was in the olden days was they go, oh, I don't want Mrs. P's pie out for the potatoes. And
then find somebody else.
I know.
It's then about
But they might want something else instead. Say, oh, I noticed you've got a couple of bars of ore there. I'll take them off your hands for the blah blah blah. So you know they can
Yeah.
trade that way. So you could take your scrap metal to the junkyard.
Yeah.
They might melt it down for you, and for say
10%.
10% of the cut. So in other words, say you take 50 bars, they'll take five bars and give you the rest back. So that means you've got that material to then make more stuff out of, or trade it on to someone else.
Or
Would
I was
that-
thinking junk vendor in the terms of like our junk vendors, into big scrap heap full of waste.
Yeah, I know,
parts.
but-
So if you go in there, you might find a broken down car, but you realise
It
no.
reminds me of
No,
Vegas.
that
No,
actually reminds me of
no,
Final Fantasy VII. Do you remember when you go into Wall Street and you buy the batteries in order so you can
Yeah.
climb up?
But let's say you find a broken down car, but what you don't realise is you get it to, let's say, 100 trade points. You can fix it up obviously in the game, but what you don't realise is inside, let's say, the glove box or whatever, there was actually like a hidden diamond or something.
Question.
Or,
Everybody lit up at the idea of olden days being appealing. The barter as
but
opposed
the
to
old
money.
trade system anyway.
Right. Olden days trade system.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does that give you? Does that, give the writers what
The
you
right,
need?
the trading isn't actually a story thing. I
That's
can
more
work
of a
with it.
functionality
That's
thing.
more of a functionality.
Okay,
Trying to find a
forgive-
USP.
But as a group, we think would this?
Olden day trading
would
sounds
this-
good
Yeah.
to me.
I mean, the only minor thing I might need to do for like actual big gold or something, or tokens anyway, is like the big supermarkets, if you want to call them that, where it's more for the consumers, where it's, you're buying food and whatever.
But I don't think we're
They'd-
going to go down
they'd
that
ex-
lines with
They'd
it.
obviously accept tokens rather than.
I thought the idea was we were going aiming for a whole medieval type.
Well, for the demo, I
For the
was,
demo.
I was
The demo,
spe-
focus on the
specifically-
demo.
Yeah.
I was specifically thinking
Oh, yeah,
of the demo.
Yeah.
How we do it
But
afterwards.
I mean, it could be that one
Everything
specific
evolves.
world. Could be
Yeah.
that you create another world as
You have-
that you maybe
look-
explore to,
Yeah.
but they do money, they do more to barter the money, but then you'll need to kind
Well,
of.
Look at how the way society has developed over the last 400 years. 400 years ago, it was trade for trade. It was barter.
Yeah,
it was a
right.
barter system. Upon the Industrial Revolution, money started coming into it,
Yeah.
where that in itself was a barter. It still is. And then you got to the political stands of capitalism, commercialism, all that
Yeah, I
fun
think in the
things.
Industrial Revolution or whatever, it was still, I'll trade you a bit of gold for.
Oh no, absolutely. But it's that point
But
that
then
money
you've got the
started coming.
American corporate bank, which sort of
No, it
started
was actually-
selling gold.
Let's move.
Yeah.
Let's moving on from that.
Yeah.
Barter system initially for demo.
And we like this in the idea of the demo system because it engages interaction in a way that would feel new and fresh.
The other thing you can
As
do
a-
about the demo as well.
Am I
which-
right? Is that
Yeah.
a fair? Right.
It's not been done by an MMO. Proper bartering system has not been done by an MMO.
Like just pure bartering, that I don't think has ever been done.
Yeah.
Daniel, pure bartering?
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
the thing I'm
Yes.
trying to think of, let me
Give
is
them a minute.
for the guild type things,
Guilds.
yeah, guilds and like people that party up, if there should be a system where they can put all their tokens into one sort of big token pile, as it were,
No, I agree with you.
for buying big items type thing.
My suggestion of getting around that
Hmm.
is
Yeah,
that
like your
when
friend needs
you
to borrow
when
10 tokens.
no, what you
Yeah.
do, the way you do it. Now,
Mm.
I'm trying to remember the game that did it. What have I been playing recently? Destiny does it,
Alright,
where the drops are unique to the character.
yeah.
Now, just because a a rare item dropped for one player does not necessarily mean that dropped for the second player. Though, if you set your status in that party to share, you could pick up that, it would go into a pot and then get distributed evenly.
Yeah.
And then all you need to do is, what should be relatively simple to do, is set a piece of a line of code that suggests its value, so that everybody gets equal value by the end of the session. And it allows fairness, allows, right, you got that, but I really wanted it and it would look good for me, or do well for me. Would you give it to me and I'll give you this lot? So on and so on.
Yeah, I mean,
It's all about making it fair for every player, and not just those that do good or kill a lot of stuff, or it's just a way of doing it, moving on.
Plus also food and items or whatever will degrade over time.
Yeah, precisely. Okay,
Next.
one thing that has to go in, and I'm going to put my foot down, because
Honestly.
the people that like the completionists
Yeah.
absolutely adore achievements.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, have to be in.
Yes.
You will get, every game now has an achievement.
Well,
system.
yeah, I'm going to have an achievement system, but it's going to be more along the lines of basically every player wears this dimensional crystal thingy. It's going to be your computer basically, where you go to the options menu, you go to your inventory, whatever you want to call it. Let me just. This is part of the dimensional magic that we've discovered. So it's basically a magic crystal from the Guardian.
Yeah, okay, so magic crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stores your items and everything. Well, certain items. You can't carry a car around and things like that.
So it's basically your inventory space.
Yeah.
Or small inventory space.
Yeah. And basically, wait, what was this?
Magic crystals, wearing magic crystals.
And I was talking about achievements.
Oh, it was achievements. Yeah, basically, there'll be like achievements, but it'll be, if you get like a trophy, it'll be an actual trophy that you can put in your house. Or
I like that idea.
That's good, like it.
I mean, it might, and then bigger achievements. So that, I don't know.
Item-based achievements.
And
I
then-
like that idea.
And there'll be thousands and thousands of collectibles. So if you want to be one of the photographers,
Collectibles.
so if you're a photographer, you want to take a picture of every animal or monster or whatever for, I don't know, records or something.
That could be like a researcher achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Or
We are
capturing
of a
every
core.
type of butterfly, or capturing every type of bird, or like the entomologists and everything do.
Item-based achievements.
Item-based achievements and
And
collectibles.
To improve your surgery skills,
As I'll set
you
it
can
up.
dissect the animals.
I think the only thing that concerned me there a bit was the reference to having something on your wrist, which
Well,
was
it's not
basically
going to be on
access.
your wrist. It was
I would say need to come away from that, because that just ultimately screamed out to me Fallout. What I would say is maybe
Yeah, but you got the idea.
I got the idea, yeah.
There's going to be a dimensional crystal somewhere on you that holds your inventory.
I would probably say that's likely more likely going to be a pendant. I think
Yeah.
a pendant would be better than
It
a.
would look better
It would look-
visually. Pendant
Yeah.
crystal. You are
It
given.
links with your mana system.
Okay, putting a story to it. You are given that crystal on your birth.
Well, if you
Maybe it's like a form of baptism type thing.
Yeah.
I,
As your.
once there's no religion, so there's no baptism.
I said like
Yes.
thing.
Two,
That say
if you
specific.
actually listen to the background story of how you enter the world, there are research that it's pulled through a dimensional rift. You burn up. You basically, your body is destroyed on entry, but you're still alive slightly.
What about?
You then get this
Slightly
doctor that
taken-
saves your life by giving you a soul transplant into a new body. So it's
What
rather
you're
than-
saying there is very similar to Marak.
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very similar.
Damn it.
But no, but
That's text-based.
it's text-based roleplay, and I think you'd probably get away with it because there's maybe about 20 or 30 people that play
Yeah.
that. So it's not. I think you'd get away with it.
Basically,
You wake up.
Have you played
Basically.
Stargate? Or since Stargate, I mean.
Well, if you,
Yeah.
what effectively happens in Marak is you die. That's how you actually enter this
Yeah.
world. Your soul has been pulled back through. They've seen that your soul has a purpose worth. Being brought back for. So you effectively get brought back and almost kind of semi-Frankenstein style
Yeah.
get inserted into a new body.
It's sort
Necromancers.
Yeah, it's sort of like that. Like basically, like Stargate, you know when they do up the gate and then it shoots out that big thing.
Mhm.
Basically, the researchers are trying to basically create that technology, but the thing goes wrong. It sucks you in when it's going all haywire or whatever, and you basically get ripped through, and you basically hurtle through the atmosphere of this new world, burning up sort of thing. The guys
It's
who
gonna be awkward to work
I
with.
don't see how
no,
that's
this is going to be cinematics, so you know.
No,
No,
you still
but
have to
even
write
so,
for
you
it.
still have to have a story with that. Even with your talking cinematics, there still has to
I'll take
play
it
into. Yeah.
You burn up. Basically, Guardian saves your life by basically sending you to the shore before you die, and then the doctor finds you. Basically, does a soul transplant into a blank body, not knowing if you're a human or you know what I mean.
I think that's maybe slightly too complicated.
And then yeah, it's just a rough idea.
No.
No. Let me work with that for a minute. Give me a minute.
But basically, then you realise the Guardian saved you. So then
Let me ask you a series of questions. Why? Why would
Because-
one of these? Okay. I'm going to quote Avengers here.
One, I don't know why they'd save you. I'm just trying to. I was just
If-
trying to explain how you got into this world because
Okay.
every game it's just suddenly you're there.
The thought that comes to my mind is.
I like necromancy. It's a
The
very good
necromancy
one.
idea I like, however, what I'm thinking is the only problem is with it being an MMO, how would you explain everybody else that got there? So effectively, you've got all these people pouring through so rather than
Perhaps a necromancer.
maybe there's a necromancer that's been up to no good. He's trying to create an army of soulless people or people that he can take control of. So he's effectively pulling souls out from where he shouldn't be and implanting them into bodies.
You need sort of like Full Metal Alchemist where the not the stones.
It's almost like a reverse of
Yeah, but like because where the alchemy was being used, it was actually using up energy from the other dimension or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so effectively, whereas they were practicing the alchemy type thing in order to try and
And so he was trying to let's say raise a dead
raise something from the
body.
dead,
So it would pull your soul into this body.
effectively destroyed one of the bodies and left the soul
Yeah.
attached to it. So kind of like that. So what you've basically got is a necromancer who is trying to create an army. I'm kind of leaning towards the kind of Fools and Heroes side of things, whereby you've got some guy who's trying to create an army of undead. Obviously, undead don't have souls, so that's a different aspect. So you've got a necromancer who's trying to basically create an army of people he can control. So he's pulling you through from a pool of you're in Gaia.
You're in Gaia.
He's effectively grabbing souls and pulling them through and trying to implant them into bodies to create his own
And
army.
these guardians are basically interfering with that. That would be an explanation.
So maybe the explosive start of the game is effectively maybe that could be the end of the demo part of it. He's
Yes. No. Let me work with that. Okay. You actually this town that you're in to begin with, this demo town, is actually on the in essentially purgatory.
ooh, I like that.
And you're doing all
The thing
this.
is, when you die, I want it to basically you have to basically spend a certain amount of time there in basically purgatory with
You
the
can
Reapers.
still have that demo town in the main game. That's where you'll start. You'll learn all your bits in
So
that
you'll
demo
learn all
town.
about the gods and all about the guilds and stuff like that in that demo town
Yeah.
because that is purgatory. It's not life and it's not death.
And
It's
then,
where your
and
soul
then
lives.
This, and then
It-
this necromancer.
It could be that you have no memories because otherwise that's going to have to explain
Well,
it.
that what with
Like
the
when you
you
get
going
to
down the
purgatory, you've got no memories.
with the idea of Castle Mara. One of the things behind it is you remember nothing to maybe an odd thing. You maybe got like a flash
You
of
have
recognition.
in Marek. You have a single memory that is actually. Well, I've got
Yeah.
4 characters with different memories.
Yeah,
on
whatever.
there.
But you can have like either a single memory or you've got no memory at all. So you're effectively a full-grown human being.
But to
But you've
write
got no
that
memory.
to think about that 30-second end piece. This
That could be the big explosive thing of your body being ripped through.
necromancer from the real world, more from necromancer. Starts pulling your soul from purgatory. Guardian gets in the way, or guardians, all
Yeah.
of them, and then it ends. and that's where it stops.
But that would then effectively explain why everybody's there and not just you as an individual.
Yes.
So with it being the whole MMO aspect,
And
explains
if
why
we
there's lots
really-
of people who've
and
all
if we-
had this experience.
And if we really wanted to
Or
make a playable teaser, you make the demo an MMO.
Daniel,
That's what I was thinking.
yeah.
is that doable?
Well, half doable. I mean, I'm saying half doable because I don't have the models of the Guardians and
Again,
Ghost models.
Don't
not
worry
worrying
about that's
about
all.
that.
That's all the creative
no,
aspect.
but if we had the models, yes, it's probably doable.
How many models?
The Guardians-
6, then you'll need
Well-
NPCs. 7. Is
Well,
it 7?
no, well,
Guardians?
5 because the Space-Time Guardian and the Dimension Guardian.
All the Guardians can actually be in Purgatory.
No.
No, but as I say, it's a place where your soul lives. So who's to say that there's not an aspect of the gods who are in that realm?
Where you
It's
can learn
interactive.
from them directly.
Well,
Yeah.
Can we stick back to that?
no.
Can we? Because I
Yeah.
think Richard's. I think
my
Richard's-
plotty mind has gone nuts.
I think the idea we are mixing between demo. We're demonstrating technical capacity, albeit limited. A demo, a cell, and the elements that we need to get you clicking to do more. Now, back to Islington. Demo MMO. Talk about it.
With the server, Vince has sorted the server space.
Daniel, talk us through.
The
Talk
thing
us
is,
through your. Talk us
At the
through.
moment, what it does is the game basically just connects to the cloud. I'm not sure what the cloud does, but
I don't think anybody knows what the cloud
No,
does. apart
It
from
stores shit.
no,
It's a
I
storage
meant no, I
place.
meant just like in terms of my game, like if it's
Okay.
connecting to someone else's server, which is what they're giving the core DLLs from, but then it basically just talks to my server
Yeah.
and then basically says,
It's server to client, basically.
Yeah.
It's the same basis.
So is it doable?
I mean,
Theoretically, yes.
the only issue I currently have with the network is it can only have 20 users at a time on the server because of
But we'll be paying for proper space, so
Yeah.
it won't matter.
yeah, no. So obviously, if the software gets upgraded, is a weapon call it. Yes.
Okay, now I'm going
Multiple
to.
people.
Now I'll let you answer the question. Cost. We demo, yes. Working demo, working MMO demo. Cool, ice cool. How much?
That
On
depend- Okay,
If we go on my model's assumption for the Guardian as being about 2 to 300 each, that's about up to 1,000. Yeah. I know he's a bit of a rip-off, but still.
we can find somebody.
We can put it
We
over.
can
We can put it to
but
any
yeah.
tender. If not someone who's been to the conventions or has these
Yeah.
skills, we can.
But
I've got contacts with,
Yeah.
with some of the
Okay, so-
indie games
if we
industry.
assume 250 each, that's about 1,000 to 1,500 for the Guardians.
Right.
But
Can we
Obviously you
talk
can
about
find
these?
cheaper.
Because this is one of the things Daniel and I had great fun with over the summer, where 2,000 suddenly became 5,000.
yeah.
Simply, so let's just try and focus on it because
Yes.
I think it's an aspiration.
Let's do this simply. A guardian,
Yeah.
we'll go by what you know. A guardian to you is between 200 and 300 quid.
About that, yes. Of course.
How much is a character model?
Same.
Single character model.
Same.
2 to 300 for a character model.
So how many are
Now,
how many
what does a
offered?
character model consist of? Is it just the skin, or
Just-
does it?
Just the body and basic skin.
Right, I'm slightly confused then, because what was the character model thing? So is that you've got limited skins and everything then, is that?
Basically, I'm trying to upgrade obviously to the new character system, which I'll show you later.
I think once I see that, I mean, to be fair, if we've got a basic character system there, then we wouldn't really need to go off
Yeah.
and send some, get
My
some.
basic one is just you click the button and it loads up a default character. The character system I'm trying to implement, which I've got, but I just need a coder to implement into the game with all the default stuff and everything, is where you can change how wide you want your eyes to be, how big you want your lips to be, how big your waist is, how tall you are, blah blah
So
blah.
that's there, but
Character customization,
Yeah.
which I approve of entirely.
Yeah, I think if you didn't have if you had no character customization, that would flop.
Yeah.
That is a big thing for people.
And that way, if you want to be like, you know, some sort of big boobs girl, go for it. If you want to be
Okay,
some tiny
so-
little person, go for it. You know?
Who's to say then that we can't use that character creation functionality to create NPCs and stuff like that? Why do we need to pay someone else to create as an NPC?
Because the problem with this character customization is it works off a base model basically, and it basically stretches out the muscles.
Yeah, I'm saying, but why
But
can't...
I don't have any models to put into this character customization system.
Right.
£200-300 would be to make, let's say, a human male base model to be modified and tweaked and
So you could, so the 2 to 300 quid, if I'm getting this right, is actually to create the base before the user stretches everything else.
Right, okay, so we need a...
Human
Theoretically then, we only need a human male and a human female
Yeah, to start with.
to start with. I mean, obviously if you want to do elves and dwarves and things like that.
You've got
Six gods.
six. You've got
Five.
six.
gods.
5 races,
5 races.
one for each of the
Who's to
Earthbound.
say...
Basically, the time-space matter guardian floats around in space doing his thing. The dimension guardians bouncing around dimensions doing his thing, but then the 5 guardians, they're generally in hiding all the time.
Right,
you
so to
can
be
have
fair-
a giant global hashtag.
So really,
So to be fair, you
for-
don't even need to create those as an immediate thing.
Not really.
Those don't need to be seen because they might not be seen till say end game stuff.
I mean, you might just hear them like in the background. So,
So you
like
could,
going on with,
Audio.
it's not the guardian.
Hearing is cheaper.
No, what I mean is, like, instead of seeing the guardian stop you from having this necromantic thing, it could be some, I don't know, police force like SWAT stop them in time, but your soul has been pulled too far from the thing, and you enter the body anyway. But instead of forgetting, I don't know, everything you knew. Or
I'll work
Yeah,
on
but-
that.
Can I
Let's
bring
go back
this
to money.
Can, yes, can we go back? Because what I'm trying to find out is, while we're sitting here
If
with
we-
no one listening, I suspect if we could get to a point that we could identify absolute ballpark figure, bearing in mind we're all poor and penniless, how much we can demo an MMO for, albeit with just 20 players, how much money do we have to spend?
I reckon if we had four base characters, so we had say a human male, a human female, and say an elfin male and an elfin female, something like that, or
Yeah.
whatever you wanted. So basically
Yeah,
having
form a basic
two
human
different
full
races,
self.
a male and a female.
Yeah.
And then that way it gives a little bit of, oh, this is what we can do, we can create other models and stuff like that.
4 times 250 is 1,000.
So say £1,000, but that gets
£1,000
us,
for the base model.
but that gets us the base models, and then they can be coloured and stretched
Yeah.
and stuff to the
Which-
I
customization.
plan on
you can do-
using
which
these
you
base
can do,
models
Daniel.
forever, so yeah.
Which you can do, Daniel.
Well, I probably need well, yeah, there's some tutorials, but I might need a script who obviously is implementing the game, but he can just,
I've got a friend.
yeah,
Can we put a cost on that?
I don't know.